I'm Bridget Lake, president of the Oviedo Winter Springs Regional Chamber of Commerce, and welcome to our Small Business Success Luncheon. First, I would like to recognize our trustees of the Chamber. We have A Budgetary Service, Advent Health, Citizens Bank of Florida, City of Oviedo, City of Winter Springs, Duke Energy, Eclat Law, Fairwinds Credit Union, Modern Plumbing, Orlando Health, Oviedo City Church, Oviedo Mall, Oviedo Medical Center, Palm Tree Tech Center. We'd also like to recognize our partners in progress. We have 419 Metal and Auto Recycling, Platinum Signs and Design, and our media partners, Falconics, Gizmo Productions, L Media, Look Local Magazine, Orlando Business Journal, Oviedo TV, Socoto Films, Oviedo Winter Springs Life Magazine. And let's not forget all of our supportive friends of the Chamber. We have CareSpot, Urgent Care, Orlando Health. We have Cavallari Gourmet. We also have Collins Dental, District Eat and Play, Edwards Financial Services, Fast Signs of Orlando, Insight Credit Union, ITI Engineering, Jean Arthur Associates, James Evans, the Real Estate Celt, Kilgore Perlman, Legends of Winter Springs, Miller's Ale House Oviedo, Mid-Florida Cancer Centers, Orlando Health Physician Associates, Orlando Sanford International Airport, Oviedo Brewing, Oviedo YMCA, Partika Group, NAI Real Vest, Pedigo Oviedo, Rockin' Brews Oviedo, Seminole County Tax Collector, Seminole County Property Appraiser David Johnson, Seminole State College, ServPro Oviedo Winter Springs, the Real Estate Boulevard, Tuscarora Nursing and Rehabilitation Center, University of Central Florida, UPS Store 3457, Verizon Wireless. And now let's get to our chamber announcements. We have Small Business U. This is maximizing your digital footprint on August 25th at 10 a.m. This is a 3-hour packed educational program with insights and tools that you can take away that day and immediately start growing your business. This is sponsored by UCF, Market Atomy, Trustco Bank, and Canterbury Retreat. And let's not forget that we have the Winter Springs Festival of the Arts happening on October 17th and 18th. For sponsorship information, make sure that you reach out to events@oviedowintersprings.org. And at the end of this program, we are doing a giveaway because Look Local Magazine donated 2 giveaways that entail a Look Local mouse pad and 4 tickets to the Wayne Dench Performing Arts Center. Those tickets are valued at $25 each, and the mouse pad is absolutely a collector's item. So make sure that you stick around for that. And we just announced our scholarship winner, and that scholarship winner is Delaney Fose, who plans on attending the Florida Gulf Coast University and majoring in nursing. Our annual golf tournament coming up in November 20th raises money for our scholarship fund. I hope that all of our businesses will consider our sponsorships, our lowest one being only $100 that supports our high school students furthering their education. Reach out to business@oviedowintersprings.org for more information. And now let's give a huge thank you to today's sponsor, Palm Tree Tech Center. Today's sponsor remarks will be presented by Vicki Parks. Vicki, how are you doing today?
Fine, how are you?
Good, good to see you today. Let's hear about Palm Tree Tech Center.
Well, we are back to normal hours. So if you're wondering, we are open and ready for everybody's business. We do have a pickup and delivery. So if you're worried about getting out and about for a small fee, we will come and pick up your item and then also drop it back off. Also, news, a lot of people know, but finally Paul and Cindy have retired. Yay! They've retired, and if you know Andrew, he's worked here for several years. He is taking over ownership of Palm Tree Tech Center. Nothing's going to change. We're still going to offer the great service and be members with the Chamber. We are looking forward to our after hours. Hopefully it will proceed September 10th, where you can come and meet Andrew if you haven't met him before, and we're going to wish Paul a happy retirement. Palm Tree Tech Center is still offering our refurbished and new computers, PCs, whatever needs you need. We are also doing IT management. If you have a small business or large business and need help monitoring all your software. And we are also still doing surveillance cameras, security cameras, and virus protection. So any kind of technological needs, give us a call. We're here to help you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Vicki. We look forward to that. And congratulations to Paul and Cindy Rosarius.
Yes.
What an amazing business that they have created and set up, Palm Tree Tech Center, for all of your IT needs. Just a wonderful community place. And now let me introduce our speaker today. We have Jesse Wolfe. He is an established serial entrepreneur and the founder and CEO of O'Dang Hummus. O'Dang Hummus pioneers better for you food and the consumer packaged goods industry by aiming to create full flavor, delicious products while focusing on plant-based, clean labeled whole ingredients. Jesse is an accomplished innovator and constantly pushes the boundaries by studying trends, consumer behavior, and all backed by his love and passion for incredible foods. Jesse has landed coverage in print and broadcast outlets around the world, including a swim in ABC's Shark Tank, Forbes, Entrepreneur Inc., Huffington Post, Medium, Project Nosh, CNBC, and Yahoo Finance. In addition to his intensive entrepreneur experience, Jesse is a public speaker and mentor. He resides in Orlando, Florida, and in his spare time, you could find him spending time with his family on adventures and being a foodie. I mean, why not? It just makes sense. Jesse holds a BA in Business Management and Entrepreneurship from the University of Central Florida, Go Knights, and a graduate from the University of Central Florida Blackstone Launchpad. Jesse, how are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for that introduction and having me speak today. I'm excited for this.
I initially met you and you have such a story, and I wanted to make sure that when we're talking about small business and success, there are some hard roads that are traveled. There's some, adjustments that need to be made. There's, as I was in the Navy, there's turbulence sometimes. Yeah. But you have gone through a lot and you continue to make things happen. So I would love to hear your story and you share the story with our members today.
Yeah, thank you so much. You're absolutely so right. I think one of the most critical pieces to a business, whether they win or succeed or, fail and push forward through something, comes down to their ability to see the problem. And instead of avoiding the problem, you take that problem head on and, run through said wall. And one of the ways you can do that I've learned over the years has been through what they call a pivot. So when I started my hummus company back in 2013, it was just an idea while I was attending the University of Central Florida. And we set out to become the Ben and Jerry's of hummus. So at the time, hummus was very straightforward. There were 2 or 3 major players in the category, and they all made the exact same 5 flavors. So I came up with a concept to be the Ben and Jerry's of hummus. And the one thing I noticed right away was when I started making my own more Americanized flavors at first, like buffalo wing and dill pickle, was that people who said they didn't like hummus were more apt to try my hummus. And when I broke it down, I'm like, guys, at the end of the day, it's just a bean dip. And what I realized were a lot of people didn't understand what hummus was, and then you added something on top of it, like an a la tapenade, and a portion of the population didn't really understand what those 2 items were, so you combined them, and then it scared them off completely. Whereas if I approached it with buffalo wings, well, a lot of Americans knew what buffalo wings were. They know what that flavor is going to be. It's very predictable, and then they saw it as a buffalo wing dip instead of a hummus. So that was major kind of breakthrough at the beginning for us. So we took the concept of being this Ben and Jerry's of hummus, and we said, okay, well, today, if 24% of Americans are consuming hummus, where's the other 76%? So we don't want to play in that category. We want to go after the 76% of Americans. You're talking over 200 million people as potential customers. And that's what we set out to do. So we entered the market starting in local farmers markets right here in Orlando. And in fact, my first farmers market was right there in Oviedo at a farm, and it was awesome. It's no longer there at the moment, but it was an incredible opportunity for us, and that got us off the ground. We did that. It was amazing, and before we knew it, we took off. The farmers markets were selling out like crazy. We had lines, hundreds deep, waiting to get hummus, and we were suddenly doing thousands of dollars a weekend in hummus sales. While the revenue was incredible, the one thing that we were really excited about was the fact that the concept was working, that people liked our idea, and that it was catching traction. And that was critical because we knew we didn't want to stay in the farmers markets forever. We knew we wanted to get into a retail setting and try to go nationwide with our concept. So that's what we did. We pushed on to Publix, and we ended up ultimately getting in Publix for 400 stores to launch the product. Along the way, as we were pitching this journey, we also picked up Whole Foods. Whole Foods was the first person to ultimately take in the hummus dips. While we were setting up with Whole Foods, Publix pushed back and said, we're going to hold off on the hummus. This category is kind of tough for us for several reasons, but we're interested in this other product that you have, which was a hummus salad dressing that we were just prototyping. So we prototyped it because we saw our customer base using our hummus on salads. And I said, well, what a great idea. And we were, polling everybody. And what we were realizing is they were using that because salads were wasted calories, not the lettuce part, the dressings, right? They were empty calories, full of sugar, processed ingredients. And we noticed people putting hummus on. And when we asked them, they said, well, yeah, it makes sense. It's like real vegetables on vegetables. And we're like, ding. So we reformulated our hummus recipes to also become these salad dressings. And Publix took notice of that right away and immediately brought us in for these salad dressings. What's funny was our focus the whole time was 90% on the hummus dips, 10% of the dressings. We're like, we'll get to those. Publix, great. I'm glad you're bringing these in, but we really want the hummus to crush. So we were in Whole Foods with the hummus, and we were in Publix with the dressings. Whole Foods was blowing out the door hummus. We couldn't keep it on the shelf. It was wonderful. The whole state of Florida was doing so well. But we could not get the hummus into Publix. And we could not figure out why, like what the holdup was. And ultimately what it came down to was there just wasn't enough shelf space. And the people that were in there, come to find out, Sabra, right, being the biggest brand of hummus on earth, is owned by PepsiCo. So we're no longer fighting, for space with just another company. We're fighting one of the biggest food companies in the world, right? And us being a little guy, this is the ultimate David versus Goliath battle. So we had to get creative. So what we had seen was super great success with the salad dressings, and nobody else was really paying attention to those, which was unique. But they were also being sold in the deli near the hummus. And we were like, I think there's a better opportunity for this. So long story short, we noticed another year into the business that we could not get the hummus into other retailers. We had the hardest time. But what we did is we decided to start focusing more on the dressing. So we started reformulating them, pivoting them, because we saw a demand. We saw a problem that our product was filling and helping many people enjoy a healthier diet and enjoy the meal while they do it at the same time. And that's a big thing for what we were trying to do at that point in time. Was we didn't want to just make health food. We wanted to make really tasty food that was accidentally healthy. And that's what we accomplished with the salad dressings. So it came to a crossroad where we were spending a lot of time and resources on these hummus dips and not getting a whole lot of traction because the big guys were basically paying to keep us out of that category. So I made an executive decision. It was a really tough one for myself to bring to my team and my board member. And I said, I think we're going to stop making hummus. And everybody almost walked out on me that day. And I said, well, hold on. It's not what you think. I'm watching what we're doing. I'm watching the food trends. I'm watching what's working. I'm watching where we're spending our resources. As a small company, we don't have massive budgets. We're not Pepsi. while we were spending $500,000, in essence, a year to get our product to a retail market, they spend $55 million a month in the same realm for just their one company, Sabra. So we're not fighting fire with fire. We don't have fire to fight with. So we had to get creative. So basically that day, everybody said, why don't you go home and drink some water and take a nap and come back Monday and try again. Nobody really took me serious. So I went to my VP of sales and I said, listen, me and you, we're going to do something for the next 30 days. We're not going to talk about hummus again. Okay. When we go on sales calls, we're only going to talk about our dressings. And I said, nobody else in the company will know. I just want to do a test. Let's do a hypothesis. Let's try. Let's make a pivot. So we did that. And within 30 days, we went from struggling to get one meeting to 10 meetings. We got 10 meetings. And I was like, I think this is working. I was like, this hypothesis is correct. So I said, let's push the experiment a little bit further. Now think about this, 30 days, what are we really losing, right? Like by pivoting away from the hummus for 30 days, we weren't getting meetings anyways. So we just doubled down our efforts on the dressing. So we went another 90 days. We did the same thing. We didn't tell anyone on our team. We just said for 90 days, we're going to do the exact same thing, but I want to quadruple down. All of our resources that we have available for our sales will go only towards salad dressings. We don't mention a thing about the hummus. But I didn't tell anybody in the rest of the team. I didn't tell our marketing. I didn't tell, the investors. I didn't tell anybody that we were even thinking again about pulling hummus from our production. So they were out there showing the world that we make hummus, we're doing hummus. Sabra and all of our competitors are watching us focus on this hummus, but nobody's paying attention to the backside, which is the salad dressings. Within those 4 months, we had landed almost 3,000 grocery stores. So we went from 400 stores to 3,000 grocery stores in a matter of months by focusing on this opportunity we saw, and we were terrified to make this pivot. But ultimately, I thought that's how we were going to save the business, because if we would have just focused on the hummus and never went down the salad dressing road, we would probably be out of business. And I knew that this was an opportunity to see if it would work early on and to see if there was a way that we could, in essence, pivot our company. So after 4 or 5 months, our team obviously noticed that we were getting, monster orders coming in from companies. And then the snowball effect started, right? We started getting phone calls weekly, daily from other retailers, our brokers, our broker networks, telling us, hey, this place wants to check out your hummus dressings. This place wants to bring it in. This distributor's picking it up. And we caught fire. And at that point in time, I went back to our entire team and I said, guys, I haven't been honest with you. I haven't lied to you, but there's something I haven't told you. For the last, 6 months, in essence, myself being, in essence, head of sales and our VP of sales, we haven't brought up hummus once. And in fact, if you notice, we're only selling salad dressing, and that's for a reason. So that was our pivot that ultimately allowed us to sneak right past those monster competitors that have 10 times more resources than us and tackle an entirely sleepy category that nobody was paying attention to. And by the time they caught on to it, now mind you, when I say we were still marketing the hummus, we were going to trade shows and we were still showing hummus. But I had full intentions on never selling another tub of hummus again. And we did that to throw off our competition because they walk around, they check out your booths, they want to see what's new. We brought out new flavors. I created new flavors knowing fully that we will never take that flavor into production. So when they left that booth that day to go back to their team and discuss like what they had seen from the show, they talked about the new crazy flavors of hummus. And we made the most insane flavors for the trade show to throw everybody off. I'm talking like, triple cherry brownie batter. I mean, like the most wild flavors of hummus that people are like, really? And we did that to completely blindside them. Meanwhile, we had 4 bottles of dressing quietly sitting off to the right. So when a retailer would walk up and go, oh, this is a unique hummus, I go, yeah, that's great. Let me show you these salad dressings, though. I would direct them to what we wanted them to look at, but if our competitors came over, I made them focus on the hummus, right? So I put the blinders over, who I wanted in essence. And it worked like a champ. So within 2017, like I said, we were in 400 stores. 2018, we were in 3,000 stores. The end of 2019, we grew into over 8,000 retailers. And then this year, it's growing even bigger. Ultimately, what we ended up doing, once we had a chat with the team and we showed them what was working, they were ecstatic. They were fully behind it. And at that point in time, I really understood the company we were becoming. And what that was ultimately was we were a hummus company that made everything but hummus. So we owned, I call it, this is my version of what you call a blue ocean strategy. If you're standing on a beach and you're looking at the beach with your back to the ocean, you see everybody at the beach. It's packed. People playing, people with their chairs, hard to find a spot, But if you turn around, the ocean's wide open, right? There can only be so many people in the ocean, but once you swim past, a certain point, there's no more people. That's my blue ocean strategy. I saw the grocery store the same way. In that hummus case was everybody at the beach. The beach was packed. But if I turned around and I looked with my back to the case to the rest of the grocery store, it was wide open for our company to innovate in. So we've ultimately become a complete plant-based condiment company. So we do hummus salad dressings. They're now doing a line of hummus mayonnaise, which is a completely plant-based mayonnaise. And what's amazing is I saw the trend of Impossible Burger. I saw the trend of Beyond Meat coming down the pipeline, gaining steam. And I said, well, that's funny because if you're going to eat a plant-based burger, you're probably going to need a plant-based condiment. Why would you eat a plant-based burger and put a condiment full of egg on it, etc.? That's what we became. So we hit that curve right at the same time that the plant-based movement was happening as far as proteins, and we've seen massive success since that point. And I think that's a critical story, as me and Bridget spoke about when I wanted to talk to you guys today. She said, with 2020 and the unprecedented times, and with so many small businesses going through so many radical changes, talk about your pivot. And I said, that's a wonderful idea. So I'll leave you guys on this. While your business may have been doing business the way it's done for the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years, you have to evolve with time. I've given plenty of keynote speeches. This is my first keynote via Skype. It's uncomfortable. It's weird. It's different. I can't see anybody. I like having an audience, okay? But that's not an option. So I did not say, no, I'm not interested in doing a keynote. I said, I am willing to do a keynote. Let's do this. And then I looked at it as, well, this is probably going to be the future to some degree. There's probably going to be more keynotes. So while it makes me uncomfortable, I have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's something I taught myself a while back is if you're comfortable, there's probably something you're missing out on. If you're comfortable, there's probably something you're leaving on the table. If you're comfortable, there's probably some innovation you could be doing, but you're comfortable. Stop being comfortable. And in 2020, my word for the year originally was consistency. I pick a word every year, but I've been able to add a second one, which is uncomfortable. Okay, stay uncomfortable. And that's critical. And I'll challenge each and every one of you to look at your business, and whether you're thriving or you're struggling, look at ways that you can pivot. Look at ways that you can take your business in a new direction. Look at ways that you can take your business and challenge the norm. And you'll be surprised when you really give yourself the chance to create and you allow yourself to go, we can evolve. How much opportunity will come from that? And I've seen a lot of my personal friends' business pivot from a brick and mortar to focusing more on e-com, or taking something like a bar and turning it into a restaurant, or turning a restaurant into, a quick service restaurant, and so on and so forth. So now is the time when you will truly see what entrepreneurship is, and you will truly see entrepreneurs come to life, create, innovate, and ultimately improve and impact all of us, personally and professionally.
And Jesse, I think one thing that I absolutely loved when I initially met you and we sat down and we met is that before 2020 hit, I met you in 2019, is you had already had to do these changes and it had done this amazing, I love how you call it the blue ocean strategy, because you can never, I don't think that when you lead something, you should ever be comfortable. You should always be looking at what is not being done. I guess I would say it that way. What can be done that is better, suited for your clientele, as you would say. Now, I know that everyone has this opportunity to type a question in the chat box. And Jesse, I wanted to make sure, did I interrupt you? Or did
no, not at all. Nope.
Okay.
That was perfect. Yep, that was perfect.
Okay, perfect, because I wanted to make sure I didn't, and I want to make sure that I am looking at everything in the chat box now, and I know that there is, at the end there, I know that we have some great, we have a wow from Michelle. She is thrilled by your story. And here we have from Sylvan said, thank you, Jesse, to share your amazing story. How did you keep yourself motivated when things were not working as expected? And then she put in quotes, maybe how others were supporting or not, or time, money, etc. So I guess the question is, how did you keep yourself motivated when things were not working as expected?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. Motivation, I mean, let's be honest, when you're running a business, owning a business, working for a business, doesn't matter what, front you're on there, you can come across frustration. Things don't work. You have this high expectation, you're very excited, you launch a product, you release a service, you put out, your exciting news of, new this, and nothing happens. Or like in our case, there was a ton of excitement. There was a ton of customer demand. However, the retailer, right, wasn't allowing us in. So like it can be very frustrating. And what I learned a long time ago is it's at that moment, your reaction to that will dictate and determine how the outcome ultimately happens, okay? So if you give into that, right, if you give into that frustration and you get upset and, you have a bad attitude, nothing's going to change. You're still going to be right where you're at. So I remember when I was younger, I used to literally, just get so upset, and I would be like, this is not fair. I don't understand. Why me? Why me? And almost in essence, like a quote unquote freak out, right? I'd be like, oh, it's the worst thing ever. But what I noticed is, okay, now I've learned to let myself absorb it, give myself a few minutes to go, this isn't working. Like, damn it. This is very frustrating. Do I still, have my little spiffs? Sure. Where it's like, how is this happening? But then I calm down and I go, okay, if your house is on fire, just yelling fire doesn't do anything. You need to take action, right? And that's what I do. So I calm down and then I look at, okay, I need to put together, and I call it myself a war plan. I need to put together a war plan. And in my war plan, it's assessing the fire. Well, what started the fire? How can I put the fire out? What are my options to put that fire out? Who can I call to help me put that fire out? What resources do I have to put the fire out? And what resources do I need to create to put that fire out? When you start pivoting yourself from a position of, no, crap, why me, this sucks, to, okay, it's here. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm in this. I can't change the past. So those emotions now, they felt them. Great. Sucked. Moving on. Now I got to look at, how can I fix this? And when you start getting into that mindset of kind of going through that process, you actually start to enjoy challenges, right? So every problem is like a puzzle, okay? The puzzle will go together, but you have to be ready to put the puzzle together. So every time I see a puzzle, I'm like, well, I've got all the pieces. I've just got to figure out how to put this puzzle back together. And, you just have to really watch your outlook on the way you're handling situations, good, bad, or indifferent, and then learn to address those properly. So it came from a lot of self-reflection, initially, And then again, we're not all born, knowing how to handle situations, knowing how to handle problems. Just like we went through school, right, K through 12, and then some of us that went into college and beyond, you're taught to learn, right? And you're forced to learn. So the day you graduate high school or college, you don't stop learning. Now it's just a different format of learning, and you have to learn yourself, and that's a big thing for a lot of people to take on. But once you do that, skies are the limits.
So I'm going to interject almost my own question between each question because I have so many myself. How did you contain, I would almost, this is kind of an assumption, so tell me if this is the truth or not. When you were showing your hummus in your wild cherry craziness flavors, and you were like, yeah, but it's really all about the salad dressing over here, How did you contain your excitement of knowing what you had going on? How did you contain that and not tell, like when you're at that thing, you're like, yep, hummus over here, salad dressing over here. Like, how did you contain that in that moment sometimes? Because you have to not give that away.
When I tell people whenever they get involved in a business, you should really enjoy what you do, right? And so for me, this was my passion. I started this out of my college apartment, and I got, I don't know how many cases of heat stroke selling this thing at farmers markets. So I was in it to win it, right? And when you're passionate about whatever you do, that passion will allow you to do some incredible things and take crazy chances. It becomes fun, right? So when we were at those trade shows, and I remember very vividly the first trade show that we did this on, Sabra's team walked around, a massive team, and they came up, and we had really kind of put some things on there. I did this on purpose, one of which was the shelf life. So hummus shelf life is typically like 90 days. We put 6 months shelf life, and the team was losing their mind. And I did that on purpose because it made it easier for me to just distract them, because their food scientists right there were picking up this tub going, there's no preservatives in this. How are you getting 6 months? And I said, well, that's our secret sauce, right? Like we have, and I mean, they're like talking to each other. Meanwhile, nobody's paying attention to the 4 dressings sitting to the right side. So when the retailer would come over, right? So I set them up for their own failure to some degree, right? I gave them good bait. Got them really excited about something that was almost impossible to do, just on the borderline of like believable, unbelievable, right? So it kind of took care of itself, and then I just kind of fueled that fire a little bit by saying things like, well, that's proprietary to us, things like that they go, I don't understand. Meanwhile, with the salad dressings, when the buyers would come over, I would go, hey, listen, I know we showed you the hummus, that's okay. Let me show you something new we have. Then I'd immediately take them over to the salad dressings. And I would explain this movement of plant-based proteins, and then I'd get them really fired up about that. So when somebody would come up to me, I would basically take control of the show. I would tell them, well, I want you to look at this and not like this. So there's that.
All right, let's go to our next question. Megan is asking, how did your experience on Shark Tank change your business? Or how did the experience on Shark Tank change your business?
So Shark Tank was a blast. And, first and foremost, that show is very authentic. What you see is real. It's nothing more than a boardroom meeting that cameras record. So that was one great thing I definitely left that show with, knowing how authentic that really is, and how it can change so many people's lives. So for us, we were super early for Shark Tank. The whole point of going on Shark Tank, we were still in the farmers markets when we went on Shark Tank. It was just because our fans at the farmers markets kept telling us we should go down and audition. Okay, so that's what we did. And we had no idea that we'd actually get on the TV show. And truthfully, we weren't ready for it. But when the opportunity came up, we were like, all right, well, let's do it. Like, why not? So the TV show was awesome, and it did generate revenue for us. But we sold at that time a very perishable product, hummus. And then we had our salad dressings that were literally just an idea. So while revenue didn't, become millions of dollars like you see some of the products, what it did for us is it gave us great exposure that we existed. Truthfully, the retailers could care less. They thought it was cool and would take a picture to send to their kids, but it didn't get us in the door. That's for sure. The thing is there's been so many, companies in essence that have been on Shark Tank. So, while 10 years ago when Shark Tank first came out, it might have perked them up a little more. Now they're like, okay, cool. Tell me how you're going to make my store better, right? So ultimately, it was great for exposure to customers, right? So think of it like a commercial, right? So every time Shark Tank, and we rerun constantly, it's a $2 to $3 million commercial for us every couple weeks. That's awesome. That's something we don't have to pay for, and it does give us, great exposure. But ultimately, our success has come from, really in essence, that pivot, that monster pivot we made, that put us in almost 10,000 retailers across the country. And a lot of that was done on our own, truthfully.
So I know you mentioned consumer behavior and how you kind of studied consumer behavior. Was that on your own business's part? Like you personally did that, or did you have help in that? Or what was your process of studying consumer behavior? Because a lot of small businesses are 1, maybe 2 to 3 people. And you're talking about that takes time. What was your process?
Again, when you're so obsessed or passionate about what you do, you're really every day you're studying your consumer and you're not realizing it. So first and foremost, you yourself, I am a consumer. I'm a customer. So if you simply step back and go, okay, if I'm walking into Palm Tree Tech Center, for instance, as a customer, what kind of experience would I like? What kind of experience would I demand? What am I looking for out of something like, of a provider like this? And am I now, as the business owner, providing that service? Would I make myself happy as a customer? And I ask that constantly whenever we have in the past created new products and brought out new things. It's very critical that you become self-aware. So by no means am I a psychologist, but I've gotten really good at studying consumer behavior, consumer demands, because from a grand scale in my industry, I look at what people are doing with their lives through social media, the news, etc., and how trends are shifting, how restaurants are shifting. Restaurants are offering, more better for you options. Well, obviously, consumers are looking for better for you products. Well, consumers also want, right, via social media, being such a foodie myself, they want a great food experience. So you got to give them both. And that is what, in essence, we study when, we've brought out new products, for O'Dang, is that consumer piece, understanding our consumer, me being a consumer, what do I want? And then we always go to our customer and our fan base. So we utilize social media, where a lot of businesses, I think, get hung up on social media is I need to post a pretty picture, to get some likes. You couldn't be furthest from what the point of good social media is. And that is a red hot testing bed for your business. If someone follows your business, they're not waiting to see, what kind of pretty picture you post today. They want to learn something. They want to discover something. They want to be told why they need your product or service. They want to be told how to use your product or service. And then furthermore, they want to feel like they know you. They want to pop the hood and see what your business is about. And that's what you need to show on your social media. And that goes back to consumer behavior. So for us, we're constantly polling our fan base. Hey, we're going to bring out 3 new flavors of salad dressing. What do you guys want to see? Hey, we just brought out these 2 new flavors of salad dressing. What do you think? Hey, we're going to put in, more chickpea in this product. What are your thoughts? And they give us that real-time feedback. And where normally that can cost, tens of thousands of dollars, we're getting it for free in essence, right? I mean, it's built into our day-to-day business. So, when I say studying consumer trends, I taught myself how to do that, right? I taught myself how to, get into my industry, see what's going on, figure out where I see new businesses coming in, what they're doing, why they're doing it, and that's all stuff you guys can learn in each one of your respected categories.
Absolutely. And I have a message from Jean. She said, great job, Jesse. I've used your delicious ranch dressing and saw you on Shark Tank. Your story is very timely, given we are all having to be innovative with our business practices.
Awesome.
And she's also on our board of directors. So that's Jean Van Smith. Thank you so much for chiming in. Another from Gina Brooks, also, she's the chair of our board of directors. Thank you, Jesse, for speaking with us today. And let me get to a few more messages that I haven't quite yet gotten to. Are you concerned Sabra will start making salad dressings to compete with you?
Yep. So that's business, right? And that is, in essence, the beauty of the United States of America is you're free to create, for the most part, whatever you want. So while it's a beautiful thing, because I was able to create a hummus company to compete with Sabra, there's also the con of Sabra can create a product to kill my product. So this is that stay uncomfortable moment. While we were having massive success with these salad dressings, we never let our foot off the gas pedal. So, the company now is set up with several products to where if Sabra, and we know Sabra, like big companies take a long time to pivot. We can bring a new product out in under 6 months. It takes them 2 years, right? So if let's say 2 years from now, they bring out a salad dressing, well, we've launched our mayonnaise, right? So the mayonnaise are out in markets and available. Now they're going to go, oh crap, well now we need to do a mayonnaise. Now they're another year or 2 years behind that. So while they are coming after one, and we expect it, why wouldn't they? If I was running Sabra, that I would immediately be attacking that category too. So, we're completely innovating with the hopes of, at some point they go, you know what, we can't keep up with them, let's just acquire them. So that would be something, that would be very interesting for our company is, while Sabra is, the kingpin of the actual hummus dips, they could buy a company like ours and bolt us on, and then all of a sudden have a huge chunk of the entire grocery store. And that was kind of our strategy originally. So it's kind of one of those things where if you can't beat them, get creative, pivot around them. Yeah, and then if you can't beat the new guy, you buy them, right? So, we've definitely talked that through. And, it's never fun when you see somebody copying you, but step up, play ball. And that's all you can do.
I have to say, when someone is copying you, though, it just shows you that they're following you.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing. As long as you keep running ahead. If you stop,
always run ahead.
You'll get right.
So I have a question from another one of our board members. There has been a lot of government help for small business owners thus far due to COVID. What do you think is still lacking or need more of in order for small businesses to succeed in the new normal?
I love that question. That's a wonderful question. With us being in our space, we had, in essence, like record sales, right? Like grocery sales went through the roof. Beyond blessed to happen to be in that category. It could have easily flipped, right? I mean, it could have easily flipped, and it still does from time to time. So everything ebbs and flows. So right now, right now, while the new norm of working from home, right? Well, right now it's an unprecedented time, and while some businesses and categories thrive, a lot of categories, such as let's take bars for instance, have been crippled.
Right.
And what we have to get back to, in my opinion, is that grassroots framework, as in take care of your own backyard. Right. So what that means is Oviedo, Winter Springs, don't worry about Kissimmee. Oviedo, Winter Springs, don't worry about Miami. Oviedo, Winter Springs, don't worry about New York City. What we have to worry about is Oviedo, Winter Springs. So while some companies are seeing massive success in your area, let's look at the companies and the businesses that are struggling. And how can we help them? Whether that's, hey, I don't need necessarily to take the entire stipend from the government. I can struggle through this a little bit. Instead of being comfortable, I will stay a little uncomfortable, and then I will allow that funding to go to other companies to stay alive because they're already uncomfortable. they're on the brink of collapse, right? So we have to pull together and remember that we're a city, we're a community. We have to support each other. We have to care about one another, just like you would in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. That's how business was done. Nobody was worried about other states, et cetera. They were worried about their own backyard. And if each city takes care of their own backyard like that, we can get through this. And there's also, how can we pivot? How can we help those businesses pivot? How can you team up? How can you collaborate? While one business is thriving, instead of, having your team members go out to lunch, maybe you set up to where you can go, listen, why don't we rotate? Everybody orders from the same restaurant one day a week, right? And then all of a sudden you're helping that restaurant get an influx of orders, which then keeps their doors open. So it's really a time to kind of get creative. Everybody has to stay uncomfortable now. Nobody should be comfortable, in my opinion, at least from an entrepreneurial standpoint. Because if you're comfortable, who could you help in this point in time? And if we stay together, we can get through this, and we all should get through this. I mean, this is a trying time, and this, in my opinion, will be historically one of the greatest moments for an entrepreneur in history, because it's such an unprecedented time. Nobody knows how to get through this. There's no books written about how to survive COVID-19. It's all, you're writing it right now. You're living through the moment. You're living through history, and how you react at this time will forever set that precedent in stone.
I agree with you, and a lot of people ask, as I'm with the chamber, they say, how are small businesses dealing with this? And we have been so incredibly grateful for our retention rate for chamber members has been incredible. And I said, those that understand we've all just been like holding each other up and sticking together and supporting each other. And that is what our community is like. We're all just like intertwining our fingers, like holding each other in a circle and just being like, we got each other. And that has really been that's what we're about. I mean, that's what we do. And I think that really shows a lot about the type of community that we are and the type of, and I say businesses, but really it's about the type of people that we are, because businesses are people. They're like you and I.
They are.
So it really is important to have that aspect. So let me see our next message.
It's such a good thing. I mean, what a better time now than to be part of something like the chamber. You know what I mean? You're building a community, and we need each other now, and you need a hub of support. It's all about support, and that's what's so cool is you guys offer that resource.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate that, because it really is about supporting our businesses and whatever we could do. And it's about the relationships. And if there's anything that we could do, we are there for our businesses, small, large, medium, people. I'm on the phones weekends, anything to help and connect people, to get involved and just support people. I mean, it's, again, I say businesses, but it's people. So it's all about that. We have one says, next question. Great info, Jesse. I love the word pivot. It's from Jana Ricci. Do you ever come together with another business entities outside your industry that supports or complements the direction you need to go? And how did you recognize who you needed?
Yeah, so I'm going to answer that in two ways. We constantly collaborate with other companies for several reasons. So we will collaborate with other food brands, that makes sense for us. So like, for instance, obviously if you're a hummus dip, collaborating with a chip company is amazing. Their customer base is following them because they do chips, right? Well, when we collaborate, now they go, oh my gosh, this is a hummus I should probably have, and vice versa. People outside of our business, we collaborate with constantly. So while we do food and we manufacture food, and that's what O'Dang has done, for years, at the end of the day, we're a business, right? And we play in what we call a CPG space, consumer packaged goods. That's basically anything you'd find in any retail setting. So, again, we've collaborated with all walks of life, as long as it, fit the direction or the guidance or it made sense. You know what I mean? A great example of that, you know, right off the top of my head that I could think of is like Sabra supports the NFL and the NFL supports Sabra, right? That is a great two-way street for both brands. You know, athletes eat healthy. Healthy food supports athletes, right? So when you guys think about how you can collaborate with your businesses, you know, just because you do, you know, let's say you're a flower shop, you don't have to collaborate with just other flower shops. Who else can you collaborate with? You know, can you give a dozen, you know, flowers for every Hyundai sold at a car dealership? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of ways that you can collaborate with other companies. You just think, how can I make a story behind this to where this makes sense? How can I benefit a customer and create a better experience, you know, create value for, you know, my partner and or customer? When you start looking at it that way, how can I create value? And that is one of my biggest things in business. I don't create businesses to make money. I create businesses to give value and to make somebody's life better, easier, happier. When you do that, money instantly follows right behind it every single time. Solve a problem with a solution.
And I want you to know that she's actually with Edwards Financial, so an investment place. So and that's why I'm saying you never know what industry you connect with and how. But yep. There's also the next comment, which I love. Is Jesse joining our awesome chamber?
Great question. So I'm getting ready to make an announcement, so you guys will kind of be the first of it. But I have exited O'Dang Hummus as of January 2020. It's something I've kept under wraps, so you guys are kind of the first to know that. So I am potentially working on even new things right now, and it's been a very crazy 2020, but it's been very exciting, and a lot of great things are going on for me personally and professionally. So as of right now, I'm kind of a free agent, but it's looking like I will get wrapped up pretty quick here again because I am just addicted to the game. So potentially in the future, but I have no idea where I'm going to land, you know, in the next 6 months.
Well, that's very cool and exciting.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we'll always stay connected, but let me know if there's any way I can help you out with anything.
Yeah, thank you.
I do want to ask, because people are asking, where can I get the hummus salad dressing?
Around here, you could find it at Publix. You can find it at Walmart, you know, in the salad dressing section. The mayos are currently at Publix as well. You know, those hit the shelf in June, from what I understand. Again, I've been kind of removed from the company, if you will. So, you know, I don't know the granular, but when I exited, you know, that's what we had teed up, and I knew it was coming out. I just didn't know the exact date. So, but yeah, you can find it almost every major retailer, you know, in this area right now.
And one of the questions is, where does he live? But I don't need you to answer that question because I don't know where that came from.
Downtown Orlando, yeah. So I'm basically like,
I don't know the basis of that one. So. All right, well, we are going to be very conscious of everyone's time. It is 12:53. Jesse, you have been amazing. I'm excited to hear. I mean, that's a really cool announcement. I'm excited to hear what is going on in your future. Please let me know if there's any way that I could help connect you. I love brainstorming with you. As our previous, just before we got into this meeting, we had an interesting conversation. So I would love to catch up and talk about 2020 with you. And
yeah,
we'll definitely get to that. So we've finished up the questions. Jesse, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been a lot of fun, and I wish everybody on here the best.
Thank you so much. And we are going to make sure that we do our giveaway from Look Local magazine. I'm going to make sure that Melissa Cilio pops on the screen because we also have an announcement. Melissa Cilio has been with us, as you know, for 5 years previously, and now she has been with us as an interim for the past several months. Today is her last day here at the Chamber. She's moving on to the Sharing Center, which is an amazing nonprofit in Longwood, and they have a great mission helping homeless people, and I just really want to wish her the best. but she's the one who's going to talk about this awesome giveaway. So Melissa, I'm handing it off to you for the final time, but trust me, I know that you are always with us at the chamber and you'll always come back, and she's a chamber member with that organization. So Melissa, you're up.
Thank you so much, Bridget. I appreciate the kind words. We're trying to actually move Carla over as a panelist right now because it got a little bit confusing during our planning. I feel like we were thrown a curveball, you know, during this time. I've learned how to Zoom. It's been a lot of fun. And today my final test is how to give something away through a virtual meeting. So Carla and Look Local did donate these amazing little keepsake mouse pads that have tickets to the Wayne Dench Performing Arts Center. There's 4 tickets inside. So now we have to find people who will win these and be able to use the tickets, because the tickets are for this Saturday at the Wayne Dench Performing Arts Center at 7:30 p.m. So, oh, I see some people commenting that they are interested in the tickets, and I'm also having to monitor on Facebook as well because we're live. So we have commenting going on in 2 places. It's really fun. Carla, I'm gonna unmute you so you can help me with this. You got me into this.
Okay.
Hi, Carla.
Hi, everyone. So everyone knows I hate video, but here I am and happy to provide tickets. I want to make sure that, you know, it's hard. Not all of us are getting out in social environments right now, but if you are open to going to the theater, the Wayne Dench is awesome. And the next show I have 4 tickets to is this Saturday evening, 7:30 p.m. is called Get Ready, a Motown Experience. And then 4 tickets to Orlando Big Band Summer Swing, Sunday, August 30th. And I figure if we don't have a lot of interest of those who can actually go, then, you know, it's kind of first come, first serve. If we have a lot of us, then the chamber guys get to pick who wins with a little contest question.
Well, how about we do a quick trivia question? How do you feel about that?
I'm good with anything. So I see from what I can see anyway, I see we have a little bit.
People are commenting, so I can see more in the chat box than you can. That's why it's a little bit confusing.
Okay.
So let's ask the question of how long has Look Local been around? First person to comment will win our first prize. All right. Oh, Madison did it the quickest. 10 years, correct, right?
That is awesome. So people are paying attention to Facebook because I made, I think, just one post this week that actually August 2010 was our very first publication. So we're at exactly 10 years right now.
Awesome. So Madison Wilkinson was the first comment, and then Liz Allen also answered correctly second. So we'll go ahead and give her the second prize.
Yeah, so you guys will have to decide which tickets, which shows you'll actually be able to make.
Oh,
it.
they're
You
different?
can get that information, and then they can pick them up from the chamber office. And I see
What's
some people like my mouse pads, so we're going to leave a couple extra mouse pads at the chamber office too for anyone who would like a collector's item mouse pad, as Bridget called it.
Liz, the second date is August 30th. Are you available that date? We can talk afterwards. Thank you so much, Carla, for donating. You're always involved with everything, and we appreciate your support.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
This was a great presentation today.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for Small Business Success, and we will see you next month for our monthly luncheon. We stopped recording.